Are you addicted to your phone like I am? Hi, my name is Samra Abuselbi. I'm the host of the show Super Awesome You on the Super Awesome Mix Podcast Network. You can actually find a specific Instagram account now at Super Awesome You on Instagram and follow us there. We're also on Threads because everyone is on Threads these days. I'll be sharing a lot of motivational content, goals, and things related to the show at Super Awesome You. So be sure to give us a follow and get inspired throughout the week. So it's ironic that I'm telling you to follow me on Instagram right after I ask you the question, are you addicted to your phone? But here we are, it's 2023, and these are the things that we are juggling with. I am very much addicted to my phone, and I find myself becoming really upset all throughout the day, every single week, when I am just mindlessly kind of scrolling through it. And then I have this aha moment, this little check back with reality that I'm holding my phone and I'm doing absolutely nothing on it. And why am I holding it? And I get annoyed with myself and I put it away and I say, no more, I'm done with this. And then maybe 10 minutes goes by, 5 minutes, an hour at best. And I'm right back where I started. I pick up my phone again, usually with some kind of an innocent idea or something I want to look up. And before I know it, I've spent another 15, 20 minutes scrolling through something mindlessly. I have that same check in with myself that I'm holding my phone, doing nothing on it, and get annoyed, and so on and so forth. Here's why that's happening. So, step one, do not blame yourself. It is okay. You are okay. Everyone is okay. Step two, here is, like I said, what's happening biologically. The best description I have read about our phones is that they're like tiny slot machines in our pockets. So if you are familiar with slot machines in Vegas or any kind of casino, you pull a handle and every so often you win something. And even if what you win is much smaller than what you've spent, your brain is like, oh my goodness, yes, that was amazing. Let's do it again because the next pull might be the jackpot. And you pull the lever and you pull the lever and you pull the lever. The reason that those things work is because of something known as intermittent random rewards, or terms related to that. Intermittent meaning that it happens every so often, randomized meaning that there's no pattern to it. In research, what they have done with rats, and I'm not really one for animal research, but unfortunately, like that's basically how a lot of this research gets done. But the findings are nonetheless interesting. So whenever they took rats and they put them in, a little cage environment with a food lever, in the cage, they found that whenever they pressed the lever and they got a little pellet of food, the rats would eventually stop pressing the lever until they were hungry again. They'd walk over, press the lever, they'd get a little pellet of food, they'd eat, they'd press it a couple more times and be like, cool, yeah, this is the food lever, check, like they understood how it worked. And then they wouldn't really press it again. In another cage, there would be a lever that did nothing. So the rat would press the lever, absolutely nothing happened. And as you can expect, they just stopped pressing the lever because why would you press something that doesn't work? In the third cage, they had the lever every so often release a food pellet. And again, it was intermittent, it was random. So the rat might press it one time and then there's a food pellet. So they know that this is a food pellet thing. And so you get like kind of an early win and you reinforce the behavior. But then they'd press it again and nothing would happen. And then maybe again and nothing happened. And maybe on the third or fourth time, a food pellet would come out. And they're like, oh, okay. So every now and then I get a food pellet from this thing, but not every time. And what do you think happened in that environment? The rats basically became addicted to pressing that lever because they didn't know when they were going to get a food pellet, but their brain was programmed to be like, oh my goodness, this is where food comes from, but not every so often. And so it built this reinforcing behavior thanks to dopamine that told the rat's brain to keep pressing the lever because good things might happen on the next press. They did this with even more aggressive substances like cocaine and basically certain rats would kill themselves on cocaine because the rats in those environments would press the lever and instead of food they'd get, I think, like dosed water with cocaine or something. I'm not really sure how they ingested it, but because the drug gave them such a high and it was really addictive and reinforcing, they kept pressing the lever until I believe they killed themselves. Which, again, animal research can be kind of brutal, but the findings are nonetheless very interesting. So what's happening with our phone is very similar. We're looking for that reinforcing behavior that is telling us to open our phone again and check what's going on in the world. And the dopamine hits come from all kinds of places. So the most common scenario and the most common talked about thing is like a Facebook like or an Instagram like, or someone retweeted you, or someone favorited your photo, or some kind of interaction on social media. Basically, someone out there thought you were funny or cool or interesting, and our brains crave that kind of social validation, and our apps on our phone provide it. So you open your phone and you just want to check, like, how is my latest post doing? And you might not get anything from it. It might just be like a blank screen, or no one's liked it since the last time you checked, and you think, oh, okay. But then 10 minutes goes by and you're like, well, maybe now someone has checked it. And you open your phone again and you're essentially pulling the lever over and over. This time, maybe you did get a like and you're like, oh, that's amazing. Now that behavior is reinforced. So 10 minutes goes by. And again, your brain is thinking, hey, the last time I checked, I got a like. Maybe this time I'll get a comment. Like, how fun would that be? And you open your phone, you open up Instagram, and you look for a comment or a like. Again, you might not get it because it's all random, because the internet is random and people are random. And then you put it away. This happens not only with things that like you've posted and you're looking for, but it also happens with content. You might refresh your feed endlessly because every now and then you're going to get a post that you really like. You're going to see a video that makes you laugh. It's going to entertain you. It might educate you. You might see something from a close friend that just posted for the first time in a while. These are all social cues and social validation, and like things that we are programmed to want in our environment, delivered randomly and intermittently through things like the feed algorithm on Instagram and Facebook. So our phones are truly little slot machines. We are programmed to want to pull them out and check on what's going on in the world and get little shots of dopamine as we do it. So that's why when I said step one is don't blame yourself, really don't blame yourself. It's our biology acting against us. This is actually known as an evolutionary trap. And we can discuss this in a later episode, but evolutionary traps are things that used to serve us from an evolutionary point of view that now kind of trap us and make us prisoner to a system that we never really wanted, because biology didn't really guess that things like phones were going to ever be a thing, right? So they've become evolutionary traps. So what can you do about this? Well, to be honest, I haven't found a good answer, because no matter how many books I read on being undistractable and, how to conquer your phone and how to take back your phone, and all these videos of like people who've gone 30 days without a phone and things that honestly seem kind of unrealistic to me, because it's really difficult to function without a phone in today's society. They do provide a lot of positive value. I do think there's a couple of things that have at least helped me and have curbed my kind of addiction to it. For starters, it's just mindfulness. It's checking in with yourself of like, what am I doing right now? And just check in with yourself all the time. Like, what am I doing right now? Oh, I'm brushing my teeth. Okay, great. Because then at some point you'll check in with yourself and you're like, oh, right, I'm mindlessly scrolling on my phone. I don't really want to be doing this right now. And then you can put your phone away. So that has helped me a lot, because you catch yourself kind of in the act of doing something you may not want to be doing. And you can, more importantly, be kind to yourself about it. Say, okay, cool. I've caught myself being on this little distraction train. I'm going to put my phone away. I'm going to do something else. If you're like me, you'll find yourself back on the distraction train sooner than later. But hopefully you catch yourself more often. You become more mindful of it. The other thing that you can do is ask yourself, why are you wanting to pull your phone out? Give yourself like a specific start and end task that you're going to do on it. And imagine yourself going through the steps of like, okay, I'm going to pull out my phone. I'm going to go to Wikipedia. I'm going to read this one article, and then I'm going to close the tab and put my phone away. Envision that first in your mind, and then execute the task. And so then you've already planned what you're going to do. And now you're just kind of going through the steps that you've walked yourself through. Again, it could take like 4 seconds to do this in your mind. And then hopefully you actually follow through on it. You look up the thing in Wikipedia, you close the tab, you put your phone away. Because now you've kind of satisfied that desire, or quite frankly need, potentially, to look something up and learn something, but you're not falling down a rabbit hole where you've spent 4 hours now, and you end up on like a Danny DeVito deep dive for some inexplicable reason. So planning what you're going to do on your phone, executing those exact same steps, and then putting it away has also really helped me kind of take more control over, like, yes, this phone offers utility, but no, I'm not going to let it like drive me into the ground. And finally, one thing that is actually very helpful is to just like prune your notifications as much as you can. I've actually now just put my phone into do not disturb permanently, and there's only a few key people that can message me or have my phone ding or light up. And typically for me, it's like spouse, family, very close friends, like people that might need to reach me in case of emergency, but everyone else is muted by default and everything else is muted by default. That is tremendously helpful because all those little notifications that come in, I'm allowing them, I'm just not seeing them until I choose to pick up my phone and consume them. And that is really helpful because that's going to eliminate the risk of you falling down that rabbit hole as we discussed. This week's song of the week, to get us back into the swing of things, is All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled. I mean, just a classic motivational song, right? If you're ever feeling down, just listen to some DJ Khaled. Number one, his like affirmation at the beginning of every song is great, right? Like DJ Khaled, he announces himself and then like, we the best music. Amazing. So great to have that much confidence. Affirmations, as we've discussed in an earlier episode, can really work. If you keep saying you're the best, eventually you're going to believe that you're the best. And other people are going to believe that too. So if you're having kind of a down day, put on some All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled and start to convince yourself that yes, you are capable of winning all the time. Believe in yourself and hopefully your day gets a little bit better. With that, I'm going to sign off, but I will see you next Tuesday for more motivational content. Again, be sure to follow us at Super Awesome You for inspiration and goals and discussion on all these things all throughout the week. See you next Tuesday.